I'd like to spend a few moments and talk about external links in Kumu. In a previous video, I talked about internal links where you could go from point to point within a map or from map to map. Though within Kumu, you can also create links from within Kumu, within any profile page for an element or a connection or loop to some external location on the web. And there are actually two different formats that you can actually do that in. You can use a left bracket, a label, right bracket, and then put the actual URL that you want to go to in parens, or you can simply just enter a URL and it will take that and translate it so that it shows up as a selectable URL. So you don't have, if you just want to show the link, it's pretty straightforward. Though more often than not, you really want some label that's presented, and when one clicks on that label, it takes them to that location on the web. Now, in a similar fashion, you can link from other places on the web, from uh, discussion forums or web pages or wikis, or blogs, wherever you would like to a map or a location within a map. If you look at this particular URL at the top of here, which I know is extremely ugly, the first part of this systems wiki is my Kumu account name. Healthcare is the name of the project, and # systemic perspective is the name of the map itself that's currently selected, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So that you could go ahead and simply refer to Systems Wiki Health and Healthcare, and what it would display is whatever the default map is, so that this is the default map in this particular project. So if I just took this part of this and put it into some web page or something someplace and entered it, it would take me into that account and display that default map. Even though this is just the name of the project, it specifies, it takes you to whatever is defined to be the default map. Or you could be more specific and actually go to the particular map, depending upon which map it is that you want to go to. Here is a different map in the same project, so that you could use this URL to go to that particular map in the project. You could also use the entire URL if something were selected. In other words, you could take this entire URL and put it someplace, and when clicked, it would take a person to this project in this account, to this particular map, and it would show this element selected with the profile page for that element displayed. The difficulty is that a lot of this is sensitive to the label of the element or loop itself, so that if you used this particular URL and the person working on this map changed the name of this element, they essentially break the link. So what the developers of Kumu have done is they have created something called a permalink. So if I mouse over this thing called permalink, and you look down here on the bottom, it's extremely ugly, though if you right click on it and copy it, what it is it is a link that if you change the name, if you edit the name of the project, or if you edit the name of the individual element within the project, this link is still valid. That's why it's called a permalink, because it's good to use this outside of Kumu if you want to link to somewhere in Kumu, because it allows the developers to continue to work on the content of the map and not invalidate the links that someone might have to someplace inside of it. So if I go ahead, notice that it does some translation on this, but then it does actually open that map in that project, and the health and healthcare element in that map is selected. So just remember that you right click on the permalink and use that externally to go to a particular map. Also, there is a way to, no, I don't want this one. Where's the other one I want? You can go from map to map within an account, so that here, oh, there's only one map in there. Let me go find something else to work with here. Let me go to this one. So if you want to go from one point in a map to another map, you can also do that. Let me go to operating context, and notice that the structure here is left bracket, a label, right bracket, a pound sign, storytelling in Kumu, and then R3. If we go back and look at that particular map, notice that the name of the map is storytelling in Kumu, and R3 is that loop in Kumu. So what I've done is I've created a link in this particular map that goes to that map and that element in it. So if I now click on this, it will take me to that map and it will center that element. I could have just as well have gone to just the map itself by simply saying I don't want to go to R3. I could have just gone to storytelling in Kumu, in which case if I click it now, it still takes me to R3 because it was just sitting there, but it didn't. In other words, if I go ahead and recenter this, let me go back and try this again, test this. All right, it simply takes me to the map. It doesn't identify a particular element. If I wanted to go to E, I could simply identify this link to be /E, and now when I click on it, it will actually select and center that particular element in the map. So you can use this to jump around from location to location in maps, or from location to from one map to another map. And it begins to make a lot more sense when you are dealing with larger and larger maps. Consider this map that I've been working on for some time, which has quite a few elements in it. And what I defined for people who come here are a number of entry points. So if we look at this, they are all defined, and it's equals pound, and then the label of that entry point with all of the special characters and spaces removed from it. And you'll probably find this a little annoying at first to create these internal links, but you'll get used to it pretty quick. So now when a person comes here and they can, these are the 4 entry points that I think are most likely for them to come to. So a person could say, okay, I want to go to this. It actually takes them there and selects that segment of that element and shows the things that are attached to it. And I may say, okay, I really only want to look at the things that are directly connected to that particular element. So I click and hold on it. So all I'm seeing are the direct links to it. But then if I say, oh, well, I really want to look at one of the other entry points. If I go back and click on this and select it, Kumu knows that it was not currently visible, so it makes it visible. The other one is still there. There just don't happen to be any connections between this set of visible objects and this set of visible objects, which is okay. It's just that the internal link provided a quick way to get from one point to another. And for this particular element, there are a set of internal links that help someone understand the order in which it probably makes sense to go through these elements. And if I went back here, I could also click this and say, okay, I want to look at the system's archetypes. So it shows me that particular element and the items connected to it, but it doesn't show me everything. I'm still capable of walking through this this model, I think, by selecting and holding, and it will unfold that model stepwise as I move through it based upon what I find that's interesting. So the internal links are the internal links are really useful, and I guess I'm confused because I started out this video talking about external links, but sometimes I get carried away. Hope this has been useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.